Thank you all for joining us today. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Paul Buckley, and I'm going to talk to you today about quality management. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about what quality management is specifically within Encore Workforce Optimization. I'm going to talk about three components in particular: evaluations, automated e-coaching, and contests, which are different parts of Encore quality management. And I'm going to show you how they work. And I'm not going to do a training session. What I'm really trying to do today is to show you how they fit within a quality management program and why they're valuable. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about audio transcription as well. And then I'm going to ask you, depending on where you are in your information search on quality management, I'm going to ask you to follow up. And we're going to have time at the end for Q&A. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping. Everybody's on mute. There is a questions panel. When you look at the GoToWebinar control panel, there's a questions section that you can open up. And that's where I'd like you to queue up questions. You can do that during the presentation, or you can wait until the end. And like I said, we'll have plenty of time. So whatever questions you can think of, that'd be great. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, when we think about call recording, just to take a step back, we think about recording interactions between our agents and our clients. And we think about being able to utilize those recordings because they can help us resolve disputes when there is a dispute. They can help us with compliance programs to demonstrate that we are, in fact, using the appropriate scripts relative to regulations. But the most important thing, and the thing that we think has the biggest return on investment, is the ability to manage agent quality. That's very important to us at DVS, and that's why I put together this presentation to show you what quality management is. Now, why would we do quality management? Well, the most important and most obvious reason is that we want to improve agent performance. For a call center, the agent performance of those interactions with your customers, that's your product, and you want that to be as excellent as possible. But there are other benefits from a quality management program, measuring and improving sales activities or engagement activities, again, between your agents and their clients. We can help reduce customer attrition when we improve the level of interaction between contact center agents and their customers. And last but certainly not least, we can improve employee retention. More successful agents are going to feel better about the organization and their role within it. So these are just some of the benefits of having a quality management program, and why we're having this topic today. So again, I'm going to talk about three components of Encore quality management. I'm going to talk about evaluations, I'm going to talk about automated e-coaching, and I'm going to talk about contests. And these are really things that you're going to grow. They are programs you're going to put in place in order to yield those benefits that I just talked about. Let's talk about evaluations first. This is really sort of the core of quality management. Now, we think about evaluations, we think about an agent scorecard, we think about testing or assessing a specific interaction with regards to several criteria, several skills that we expect that representative to be able to perform and perform correctly. And we think about that score as being how well they did on that particular interaction. And we think about this in the context of QA or quality assurance, right? We want to sample, we want that production line, we're going to grab one and we're going to QA it and make sure that the product that's going out the door is successful. So when we do this within Encore, we're going to provide the audio recording so that you can listen to the interaction and assess how the agent is conducting themselves, how well are they using their training, how well are they completing the transaction that the call is intended for. And we also have screen recording. We also provide the ability to capture the agent's screen, their desktop machines and the video that's going on one or more monitors. And that is extremely helpful to allow you to understand the quality of the transaction or the interaction, because it shows you not only what are they saying, but also what are they doing. And there's a third piece of evaluations, and that is the selection tools. When we're in a quality assurance mindset or context, we're not evaluating every single call. We can't. That's not practical. So we need to have the ability to select some subset of the interactions that are recorded in order to make sure that we have confidence that the assessments are accurate, right? Because everybody has an interaction that they wish they could do over. That's not the point. The point is to make sure that we're measuring and we're getting high confidence in the skills and aspects of performance that the agents are conducting. So we need the ability to select those. We need to put together the different filters to say, well, these are the calls that will give us the highest confidence in actual or assessed performance. So within Encore, we've got a number of different features that let you realize this vision of evaluations, scoring categories, different question types, the ability to make questions required or allow for an NA, a not applicable answer. We have a manual fail option. We allow evaluators to put comments at the question level during the evaluation, which is very important for follow-up. And we have also tools to distribute the forms to different evaluators. And then last but not least, the ability to calibrate between evaluators, because the last thing you want in a contact center is evaluators that would score the same interaction differently as you're trying to get that data incorporated. Now, there's a couple other attributes of Encore evaluations that are very, very important. They don't relate to the features so much as just the way we do things at DVS. And the first thing is that those tools, we provide access to ordinary users. They're easy to use. They're accessible from day one. There aren't any professional services or authoring that's required. You can start your program as soon as you start using Encore. And along with that, we provide free training to get you up and running on your quality management program, your evaluation specifically. Now, the goal of evaluations isn't a single assessment. It's not a point in time. We need to output the information from those evaluations. We need to provide the QA team and the operations management with the information to say, how are we doing? And how are we improving? Where are we improving? Where are we not improving? And so we've got a number of different ways we can do that. Standard report templates, configurable export tools so you can get the data out and use it in pivot tables or BI tools. And then also the ability to put that information right into an Encore dashboard. So as a supervisor, you can see that data as it's being collected and get a snapshot of where you are at present time. So we've got a variety of tools to allow you to manage the quality management program. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about automated e-coaching, and I'm actually going to step back and cover a little bit more on the evaluation philosophy too, because that follow-up is obviously a key piece of any quality management program. Now, when you hire an agent, you may not think of it this way, but the training that you provide them is the least amount of training that you can get away with before putting them on the job. And an agent will start as a rookie, and they will have enough knowledge, enough training to get the job done adequately, and then over time they will improve. And that's the way it works with agents. You couldn't afford to do it any other way, and attrition demands that you do it this way. So the idea is that they will progress in their learning and their mastery of what it takes to be an agent at your company. So what is coaching? Well, coaching addresses the gaps between where you expect them to be based on their tenure and where they are as measured by your assessments, your evaluations. So we need a definition of coaching to work from, and that's how that's what I wanted to use. So let's take a look at an example. Let's say you've got a set of skills. This is what you expect from an agent that has been performing agent function for X period of time. And you've got a set of skills, say 8 different skills that you're going to measure them on. And you're going to do an evaluation or several evaluations to identify where they are. And you may find that they're good in most areas, and maybe there's a few that they're not so good, could use some improvement. But most importantly, you find out that there are some areas that they are not meeting expectations. They're not where they should be for the amount of time that they've been. And those are the things that you need to react to quickly. You need to bring those up so that they're at least fair and hopefully good. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Every agent is individual, and they may need a refresher or something else. And again, that's our definition of what the coaching function is designed for. So what does that process look like? Well, let's kind of walk through. So first, there's the interaction, and this is the interaction where we can identify a deficiency, but we of course haven't identified a deficiency as of yet. We need to do that evaluation. We need that evaluator to say, here's the QA score. They did fine on these, but not fine on these other things. So now we have the deficiencies identified. Well, this is a function of the QA team, and the next step is for the supervisor to review those deficiencies and develop a plan, make sure that they are comfortable with where they think the agent should be and how to coach them to get there. And then we're not done yet because we have to schedule that coaching session. We have to sit down with the agent and review those deficiencies with them. So obviously the point here is this is time consuming, and we can't afford time in this process for at least two reasons. One, that product is going out the door, right? If the initial interaction occurred a week ago or multiple weeks ago before we get to the coaching, how many additional interactions occurred that did not benefit from the potential improvement in that agent's performance? The second reason is that's really hard on the agent to sit down with them and say, you know, we need to go over something, and the basis for this coaching session is interactions that occurred some time ago, week, multiple weeks. So time is the enemy here, and yet supervisors, QA people, they're trying to do all these things across a large base of agents. And so they can't help that it takes time. So what we'd really like to be able to do, what we DVS set out to do, is to see if we could jumpstart this and see if we could go from deficiencies identified directly to scheduling agent coaching. Okay, so that's the idea behind automated e-coaching. So what does that look like? Well, remember, we have that evaluation, and then in that evaluation, we've identified a couple of skills that, hey, these are not up to par, and we need to do something. So they go on the list for coaching. But instead of going on the list, which is handed to the supervisor, we want to assign them an e-learning lesson immediately, right away, as soon as the evaluation is completed. And so that's exactly what automated e-coaching does. The agent will see on their dashboard, these are assignments. They have a due date, they have a topic or a name, and the agent can open those assignments and complete a short lesson on what they what the deficiency is and how to correct it, how that particular technique or that particular skill needs to be done. So they get that little remediation, the coaching on, you know, here's the proper way to do this. Here is the way to raise your evaluation score to be in the range where you don't require additional assignments. All right, so we have an email notification that goes to them. Some other features you need to know about: you can add quizzes to an e-learning lesson. This is a great idea. It's optional, but it's a great idea because reinforcing the assignment with a quiz is a great great way to make sure that agent is really serious about accepting the coaching and improving on that particular skill. We're also going to track how much time did they spend, and between quizzes and time spent, supervisors, QA, management really get a sense of whether they can expect enhancement in that agent's skills. If they're spending time on the lesson and they're passing the quiz, then you've got high confidence without touching the agent, without spending any one-on-one time. You've got high confidence that they are ready to improve on that skill. If the quiz score is not satisfactory and the time spent is very low, they just kind of blew it off, then that's your indicator that maybe a little bit of one-on-one coaching time is expected. Now, what about one other thing, there are reports for these metrics as well. So getting that view across the entire population, not just the specific agent. Now, what about the lesson content? How do we manage that? Well, a couple of ways. First is DVS, we provide samples that are included with Encore for some general soft skills. So those samples are in Encore right when you start building your evaluations and coaching modules. You can use them. You can modify the ones we provide and add and make it your own, or you can just use your own content, documents, videos, and web pages. And this is not as difficult or as costly as it used to be. Training production is very, very expensive. Don't get me wrong, but producing a short video, 2 or 3 minutes, there are tools out there that'll let you do that with cartoons and voices that are very, very cost effective. You can also easily produce your own video by recording a web session and putting together a couple of notes on PowerPoint and walk through a particular technique. So getting videos, you don't think training production quality. That's not what you have to do. You just have to take a single subject, put together a couple minutes of content, and put it into a video that you record with whatever your web conference tool is. Now you can also use documents. You could use web pages or an internal URL. Maybe you have a wiki page or something like that where there's content that would be useful for e-learning lessons. So really you can put these together in a way that addresses those skills that you're seeing the deficiencies on. Now this program that I just described, evaluations and automated e-coaching, is very, very effective. And I'm going to share with you feedback from an actual customer. This customer put this into place and found that within 7 months, the average improvement on skills as measured by the evaluations was 37%. Some skills were higher, some skills were lower. The average was 37%. And within 12 months, that had risen to 70%, almost double what it did in the first 7 months. And they also found, interestingly, that the requirement for one-on-one coaching had been cut in half. It was 30 minutes. Coaching sessions were 30 minutes instead of an hour. So you've got dramatic improvement in agent performance combined with operational efficiency in terms of lower burden for one-on-one coaching between supervisors and agents. So a very, very dramatic improvement. This customer said that they were thrilled with the tools for creating and managing evaluation forms. And they were appreciative of having complete control over the entire evaluation process. So this is evidence of a very strong capability that we provide with these tools. Now let's talk about contests too. Contests is an enhancement in terms of quality management. Who doesn't love a good contest, especially in a contact center environment? First person to get 10 outbound calls made talking about our new promo gets a $25 gift card. Ready, set, go. And the reason that contests are effective is because of two things. One is the transparency that comes with sharing performance metrics directly with agents and letting them be part of managing their own performance. They can control something in the context of a contest rather than just, in their normal day. So that's one thing. Second thing is gamification. I'll talk about how Encore contests use gamification. But basically, it's why does the motivation occur? Why is there an enhancement to activity in the context of a contest versus ordinary activity? Okay, so let me show you what a contest actually looks like. So here is a contest widget. This is a widget that would show up on the agent's desktop, the agents that were participating in the contest, as well as the supervisors and even managers who were interested in this particular contest. And think of this as like a leaderboard for a golf tournament, right? You've got a contest period, and then you've got the participants, and you can see what the current performance is, where people are. And what you can see by this is if the contest ended today, and it's scheduled to end in a couple of days, you'd see who would take the top spots and earn those points. And speaking of points, we also have a feature called the Reward Bank that collects those points, because you're not just going to do one contest, you're going to do contests and repeat them. So as you repeat contests, you give people multiple opportunities. They collect those reward points, and then they can redeem them. Well, what do they redeem them for? Well, that's up to you. So what you do is you put the rewards into Encore, and you put the value, that is how many points they're worth. So you can decide if you've got some company swag, or you're going to give some benefit, an hour of PTO, or a front row parking spot, or whatever the reward is. You're going to decide what's appropriate to motivate the agents to earn those reward points by placing at the top. Now, this is where gamification comes in, because we have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators working at the same time. Intrinsically, we all love to compete, especially when we work in teams. Competition can actually bring teams closer together because there's that natural rivalry and that natural desire to place at the top. And you also have the extrinsic, I really could use those Beats headphones, and I'd really like to win enough reward points to make that happen. So that's how contests work. We have 4 contest types at the moment, and probably will add more. We can do contests based on call counts, based on hold time, so having low hold times in your calls. And we can also do contests based on those quality management metrics that we just spoke about. That is, who has the highest evaluation score or the highest average for a period of time, or who's scoring highest on quizzes from e-coaching assignments. All right, so that's kind of it on quality management. And as I articulated at the beginning, these are programs, and if you plant the seeds and use these programs, you can expect to reap the rewards. And so I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about audio transcription. And audio transcription is extremely relevant to quality management. It extends beyond it, but it's extremely relevant. And I like to talk about audio transcription as getting above the trees, okay? Now, obviously, your quality management program, you are gathering those assessments, you're analyzing the data, but you're not inspecting every call. And it's not practical to do so. It's not necessary, and it's certainly not practical to do so. But audio transcription really lets you get above the trees and look at the entire landscape. And speech to text, just to explain audio transcription is running every audio recording through a speech to text engine and then putting the transcript in a database that can be searched. So what are you able to do? Well, you're able to search all transcripts for keywords and phrases. The key word there is all, because you're not going to sample, you're going to literally search every transcript. And again, speech to text engines have become very accurate and very accurate at very cost effective price points. So doing this is practical, whereas a few years ago the accuracy wasn't there, or the accuracy required a lot of investment in cost. That's changed. So we can now search all of our transcripts. We can quantify and inspect transcripts that contain specific interactions. I'll talk about some examples in just a second. And we can save those searches that are the most useful to us in the context of guiding quality management or other activities. So let me give you some examples. So if we want evidence of agent skills, we can use audio transcription and supply keywords that help us decide how frequently are we seeing evidence of those skills. Now, it could be you want to search on terms that are considered slang that you want to avoid, right? You can see, okay, well, does that happen a lot or not a lot? And you've got the benefit of searching every transcript, not just the ones that you evaluate. Maybe you want to look for a compliance script, and you want to see how many different ways that compliance script is being applied by your agents. So you search on the keywords that help you locate that compliance script, and now you can do some analysis on that. Similarly, sales activities or engagement activities, search on specific words that indicate that agents are offering cross-sell promotions or mentioning renewals or deals that you have that are going on. And then searching the other side of the conversation, right? Quantifying how often a customer is expressing satisfaction, or hopefully not, but how often are they expressing dissatisfaction? And this audio transcription will help you quantify churn potential and things along those lines. So really a number of different examples that you can apply audio transcription. Now, as I mentioned, guiding quality management is one of the most important ways that you can do this. But improving coaching, you can find specific examples, looking at a set of agents or a team of agents, looking for specific examples of key interactions that you want to use during coaching. Similarly, with training, who hasn't in the course of training development, who hasn't wanted that one example of an interaction type that you want to use in training? Well, now you can search across all your transcripts and go back in history and find the one that best represents the specific scenario that you're trying to search for. But really, that guiding quality management is the one that I want you to remember in the context of quality management. If I were starting a quality management program today, I would start with audio transcription. And the reason is because you can spotlight, remember, you're getting above the trees, where are the biggest issues and which of those biggest issues will yield the most from a quality management perspective. From a QA mindset, you're listing all of your skills, right? But by using audio transcription, you're able to say, well, skills 5 and 8, we could really move the needle if we focused on just those. So let's focus on those first, and let's worry about other skills later after we've mastered those. So, that customer that I shared the feedback with, where, in a year, they were really killing it with quality management. Well, how much sooner could they have gotten that level of efficiency and performance if they had started with audio transcription? So because of the maturity of speech to text, I really think this is a big opportunity for contact centers. All right, so we're going to wrap up and do Q&A. I want to ask you to consider which of these activities would be most appropriate. If you would like to schedule a training session and get into the details of evaluations or automated e-coaching or contests, please send an email to training@dvsanalytics.com and we'll get you scheduled for that. If you'd just like to learn how would I use these, what does that look like to apply quality management into my contact center, I'd like you to reach out to your DVS partner. If you want to contact us directly, please shoot an email to sales@dvsanalytics.com. And last but certainly not least, if you're interested in audio transcription and you'd like to see a demo, then send us an email and we'll get you set up for that as well. I want to encourage you to do one of these, if not all three. And I think I might have a guest speaker jump in at this time.
You do. Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. This is Chris Williams. I'm the CEO at DVS Analytics, and just wanted to make a couple of comments. Most of our customers already have quality management. Um, in fact, used to be in the old days, if you had a contact center of 200 or more agents, you absolutely had QM. And a lot of times, smaller contact centers felt like they couldn't afford the software, or they weren't big enough, or it was too complicated, and so on and so forth. So, as Paul mentioned, we're here to help. If you have Encore quality management, that component of the software, and you just haven't, for whatever reason, gone forward and implemented it, we can help you with that. If you don't have it, and as Paul mentioned, you'd like to learn more or you'd like to talk about it in your specific environment, please do so. And then if you're a partner and you've got a customer of yours out there that you think could benefit, we would love to work with you and help them. At the end of the day, we want all of our customers to utilize Encore to their fullest extent possible, and that's why we offer training. As long as you're under contract with us, you can get as much training as you need. So again, we're here to help, and we want to help. Well, we sure do appreciate everyone's time today. And again, anything we can help with, please don't hesitate to reach out to Paul, to myself, or any of these email addresses that you see on the screen.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate your time today.
Have a great day.